Morning children, Namaste. Are you enjoying online teaching? I hope you are enjoying online teaching. Be very conscious and mindful to your work, because unfortunately or fortunately you are learning all your materials of syllabus through online teaching. Not in the school, but one to one. You can listen very carefully, watch the video carefully, and each word you can understand very mindfully. At the time of watching the video or listening the teaching material given to you by the teacher, you must be well prepared with your pen and paper, and you will have to point down or note down the important words, sentences, phrases, whatever important things you feel, because noting down important things will help you prepare your lesson or chapter. Okay, don't miss anything, because later on you will have a great botheration. If you think that this is simply enjoyment and pastime, pleasure time, no, never think it. Be very serious. Today, in course of online teaching, uh, my next chapter is The Midnight Visitor, from the book, supplementary book, Footprints Without Feet. The Midnight Visitor, a detective story. Here, written by Robert Arthur, a great detective writer. And here you will see how a secret agent, a spy, befooled the intruder, befooled the criminal. The same story I am sure you had read in class 9, If I Were You, by James Douglas. A little bit similarity in between the two stories. In that story also, the main character befooled the intruder. Here the main character, MrPossible, also befooled the intruder. Throughout the story you will see there are three characters. Be mindful. The first major character is MrPossible. He is a spy, secret agent. Second character is Fowler. He is a young romantic writer. And third character is an intruder, and his name is Max, Mr. Max. MrPossible lived in the small room of the sixth floor of a French hotel. MrPossible lived in a small room on the sixth floor of the French hotel. And as he was a secret agent, a spy, detective writer, detective, so Mr. Fowler wanted to write about his activities. When Mr. Fowler reached that, he was not happy, he was disappointed, because looking at MrPossible, he was surprised that that man can never be a spy or can never be a secret agent, because MrPossible was a fat, short-sized man. Not by the face one cannot say he was very intelligent, but actually he was very ready-witted man. He had a great presence of mind. He could act very wisely and mindfully. He could design any short story immediately in order to make others fool. What happens in the story? A paper is to reach in the hand of MrPossible concerning a new missile, and that paper Mr. Max, the villain, wanted to take from MrPossible anyhow. So Mr. Max was already in his room at the top. Using the duplicate key, he was already inside the room. When Possible and Mr. Fowler went into the room, the two men were surprised to see the intruder because Mr. Max had a pistol in his hand. And Mr. Max told them to be quiet and hand over him the important paper. But at that time, Mr. Possible said very calmly and very intelligently fabricated a story very intelligently and said that how he entered the room. Yes, certainly he had entered the room through balcony. Balcony was there according to Possible. Actually, there was no balcony. Balcony was there, and through that balcony he must have entered. Mr. Max said no, he used the key. If he had known about the balcony, he had entered through the balcony. But Mr. Possible said that it was balcony and he would complain to the hotel management or hotel manager to close the balcony because many people enter there without any permission. In the meantime, there was a knock at the door. Max wanted to know who that was. Then Mr. Possible again designed a story, false story, and said it was the police because the police wanted to protect me from any danger. He was to receive a very important paper, so in order to give me protection from any wrong happening, the police were to come in. Max wanted to save his life, and he thought he would go through the balcony, but as he went down through the balcony, there was no balcony. The room was at the 6th floor. It was simply an open window. And certainly he fell down with a great cry and he died on the spot. When the door opened, it was the waiter who had brought 2 glasses of drink for Fowler and Possible. Fowler was surprised to see the wit, the intelligence of Mr. Possible. So this is the story. The common sense, use of common sense that you can also apply in your life in positive way. Because this is the common sense by which you can solve any problem very wisely and intelligently. So this is the story. I think the story is very interesting. If the story is very interesting, certainly you would like to read line by line. And when you read line by line, you will keep your pen ready in your hand and underline the important sentences, important words, and note down in your copy, CW copy, classwork copy. And then at least 20 questions you will make with answer. And please try to show me. Simple question: who was Mr. Max? Who was Possible? Why did Mr. Max come or enter the room of Mr. Possible? Who was Fowler? What was the paper about? So this type of questions you will prepare. Thank you.